Gwaan, everybody. It's your guy, O'Day Osborne, the Jamaican sensation, and joining me on the studio today, we have a special guest, handyman, Cody Steinman.
Literally handyman right now.
Yeah, you just tore your bicep, huh?
Yeah.
What the hell?
I know, man. It is a crazy, 48 hours of my life. I was in Michigan visiting my family. I get a call about a fight. It's 4 weeks notice. So first thing I do is go get on the scale. And I'm like, okay, I can make weight. Fly home the next day, get to training. I train Monday, Tuesday, sparring. My first round of sparring, I tore my bicep.
No.
And I'm out. It was just like everything happened so
Yeah.
fast. Man, this sport is so crazy.
This sport is so crazy. Speaking of crazy, man, what do you think about, what's your opinion on the whole USADA situation?
Well, dude,
Because
here's my honest opinion.
Yeah.
It's almost a good thing for guys that haven't been
Yep.
taking steroids. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like myself, because now, I mean, we can pretty much level the playing field with everybody else.
Oh, for sure.
So it's a good thing. It's a good thing. But for newly established guys, unless
Yeah.
you have somebody backing you,
Yeah.
there's no way you're going to be able to pay somebody to do the blood work and get the right shit.
Well, for sure. I think, the UFC is probably going to end up using the state commission for testing from now on.
I heard, and this I probably shouldn't even say this yet, but I heard that they're trying to develop their own team and their own testing program, and it's gonna be all done in house.
I believe it. I mean, hey, this episode isn't going to air for another 4 weeks, so
That's perfect.
it'll come out.
That's perfect. Yeah.
You're good.
I heard it on good authority from someone in the UFC. That they're already building a team, and that they had planned on announcing it in a month.
Mm-hmm.
That they're gonna drop USADA, and USADA basically was feeling pretty salty,
I knew it.
Ex-girlfriend that got done dirty. She's like, I'm putting this online right now.
Hey, but those whereabouts suck, though, man. Having to have it, it's not even the whereabouts, right? You guys don't understand. We have to go on this shitty app and do our whereabouts all the time. And it's not even the fact that it's a USADA problem. It is more of an application, whoever developed it was an IT problem. The app absolutely so buggy and so glitchy. It's hard to get stuff done. And it's just like, oh man, if there was an easier process to do your whereabouts for the UFC fighters always have to update their whereabouts so that, we can be tested. So it's random. For example, the NFL, they do theirs. They have a scheduled date. You know what I'm saying? For us fighters, it's random. They can show up at 5 a.m, 6 in the afternoon,
they will
wherever.
too.
And
they will.
They showed up when I was working in the school. They showed up at my job when I was a teacher.
That's awesome.
I was like,
try to explain that to everybody. I have to take a random drug test right now. And they're like, why do you have to do that? And they're like, oh, it's for my fighting career. They're like, is it?
For real. But
it's
how do you
CO showing it, dude?
But how do you feel? But it's gonna benefit people. Okay, for example, you just tore your bicep, right?
Yeah.
A lot of injuries require some form of steroid. You know what I'm saying? Whenever people hear the word steroid, they freak out and they think it's oh man, steroid. But there's a lot of injuries that require some form of steroid. I don't know the chemical that is in steroid that they use in a lot of medication, but a lot of medication has steroid in it. But when we get injured, blow our knee or whatever the case may be, we can't take certain medication because it has steroid in it. But now it's going to be able to benefit those and
and it's obviously steroids are the worst, right, of the PEDs.
Yes.
But there are a lot of other PEDs that aren't performance enhancing. They just aid recovery.
Exactly. And that's what people don't understand. When they hear, you're taking something for your injury, they think, oh, performance enhancing, cheating. It's like, no, it just helps recover that muscle or that ligament, or repairs the ligament. It's like the same concept of stem cells.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But,
it gives your body the tools to naturally heal yourself faster.
Yes.
And, be honest, I'm about to hit TJ Dillashaw up and be like, what's up, bro?
Right.
I haven't talked to you in a long time, brother. Hook me up. What's the regimen that you were on?
Hey, I hear Overeem is coming back.
Yeah, no shit.
Overeem's coming back. He's like...
Cowboy Cerrone actually saw something on Instagram. Cowboy Cerrone, posted this video, and he's like, hey, Like, any of you guys want to know what you need to take, hit me up. I'm like, dude, this, like, I don't know if it's going to be like a straight free for all like that.
Nah,
like,
I don't think it will.
Because, I mean, at that point, I feel like if it gets to that level, it's not even, it's like, who's your doctor? You know what I mean?
It's
like,
true.
what kind of shit, like, how geared up can you get? I mean,
All
I don't
right.
think it's going to go straight pride, but who knows?
Okay, but so check me out. Hear me out. All right. I'm playing devil's advocate for a second here. What if it was a free for all and anybody could take it? What kind of entertainment business this is gonna be? You know what I mean? If it was a free for all, so it's either you have banned, you can't take nothing, or everybody could take it.
Yeah.
You know, there's no in between. There's no in between, because if everyone could take it, man, what kind of fights you gonna think?
It's almost like if everybody can take it and it's a free for all, it's gonna be like, it's gonna be so necessary to compete at a high level. You know what I mean? You're gonna you have to get on gear.
For real.
Like you'll have to take steroids. You're gonna get left behind because like coming up, I trained with a few guys that were like, every single time they had a fight, they would get on gear. Yep. And I'm telling you, it's a different. They're different. Like one, it makes you so much more aggressive. These dudes are fearless. You know what I mean? And then they're so much stronger.
Yes.
Dense.
But not just that. Steroids nowadays is so different. You know, your reflexes, your fast twitch fibers. You know, it used to be you get aggressive and you get strong. Now it's your reflexes that are, you know, heightened. And I think GSP was talking about. I watched his documentary and he was like, you know, the steroids now. There's certain brands. I don't know what they're called, but it can be in your system for years, like 10 years. I think maybe it's the Pico, or whatever the case.
Like it's the way your liver processes steroids.
You seen John Jones came out and said something about it? I was like, sometimes, okay, look, man, come on, look, guys. Here's my thing. If I commit a crime, I'm not gonna go out and tell people I didn't commit. I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut. Yeah. You don't admit to the crime and you don't deny the crime. You just keep your fucking mouth shut.
Don't ever talk about that crime.
Don't ever talk about it. Just keep your mouth shut. I'm like, oh, John, come on. He said, what did he say? I have never cheated and I'm gonna stand by that until the day I die.
Never, but like you randomly had like picograms in your pee. Like, come on, dude. Like, I mean, I've never cheated. And every time I take a pee test, it's clean. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason for that. You know what I mean? Like there's a reason. I've never taken steroids. But if I did, even 10 years ago, it might pop up on a pee test.
But I bet people look at you and they're like, yeah, that man is on steroids
I
for
get
sure.
tested a lot.
I bet, bro, because you're fucking shredded, dude. You're fucking shredded. But you don't drink, right?
Right now. Not much, no.
Yeah, you don't drink much, and you work out, you train. Fucking handyman, you're shredded. You're super shredded. For me,
dude,
they don't.
I wish I had that fucking body type.
Yeah, but see, the difference is I don't get tested often. I rarely get tested. You know why? Because I'm black. We're naturally built this way.
Yeah, that's true. You guys have more muscles than we do, dude. You're just built better, dude.
And then anytime they see a white guy shredded, they're like, oh, he's got to be on something.
That motherfucker's on something.
He's on something.
Yeah. We got you, buddy. We got you. We're gonna watch you pee at 6 a.m. just to make sure. Real.
But I'm gonna show him. George, do you have this fight video pulled up?
Absolutely, man.
Can you show the fans some of Cody Stamen's work? Yeah, you do your thing, man. I do have to ask you. I'm gonna put some salt on some wounds for a little bit. I'm gonna ask you how you feeling about that last performance, because I felt. Ooh, that one hurt me. That one hurt me, man. That one really. Ooh.
I've never. Well, I mean, I can't say I've never saw this. It's happened to me a couple times in the UFC, and like once before the UFC, where I got just done bad, and
they did you dirty.
That one was the worst.
They did.
I mean, it was like from the beginning, like getting stood up from the takedown.
Yeah,
I was like confused. You know what I mean? Like I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Was that in North Carolina, right?
Yeah, it was in North Carolina.
Every fight, not every fight, but most of the fights that night had something where the ref was just like, where do they find these refs from?
They pulled that ref after my fight. They're like, dude, he had like 3 more scheduled fights. They're like, you're done. You're not reffing anymore.
That was
Thank
insane.
God.
So you want to explain to the fans a little bit, if they didn't catch it, what happened during that fight?
Yeah. So I mean, I went out and won a fight, but in the first round there was a position. Basically, I got a takedown. I was passing guard, and the guy like up kicked me, which is illegal. And the ref stood us up, didn't take a point, warned the guy, and then made us fight. Like, and like in the rules, it states like if something like that happens, like it's either or. You either take a point or you go back to the ground.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And something like that in a fight, you know, against another high level guy, you know, where that can change the outcome of the fight. I mean, that was like the game plan going in, like take him down in the first round, kind of grind him out, don't do a whole lot, and then start to beat on him like later in the fight, like take the spunk out of him. The guy's got 20 knockouts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to rush in and just get in a firefight with the guy in the first round. So the plan was take him down, you know, soften him up a bit, and then, you know, get on the gas pedal later on in the fight. And then literally I did exactly what it played out exactly the way I thought. I knew late in the fight, he'd start, you know, he wouldn't have the same spank on his shots, and, you know, I could start landing my counters, and like I did, and you know what I mean? And the biggest thing that hurts in that fight is that I basically knocked him out twice in the third round.
Yeah.
Like he like stumbled, went all over the place, and then I hit him again, and he goes down, and like he went out. Like he hit the ground.
I
like,
know.
Eyes closed out. And then when he hit the ground, it like woke him back up. And like in that moment, I'm looking at it like, maybe I banked 2 rounds. Like that's the way I saw it. And like third round, like, am I really gonna let this dude up after like this is what was going through my head in the moment. I'm like, I'll take him down. Like I'll hold him on the ground. Like finish out the fight here. You know what I mean? Like be safe. This guy's dangerous. Yes. You know what I mean? Because I've seen I've watched other fights where he gets clipped like that and he gets up and then guys are trying to finish him and they get caught. Yeah. And he get he does hit like insanely hard. So I mean, I felt like I made a smart move, but
those guys are gonna love USADA not being there.
Yeah, for real. USADA's not where they are now, so it's like, you know what I mean? Like I was looking at that dude at the weigh-ins, and I was like, dude, how are you this jacked?
Dude, he was jacked.
He's like 36 years old, dude. That jack, come on, dude. You really want to sit here and make me believe that you're just down there in Brazil, freaking eating wild game meat? Like, you know what I mean? Like, well, come on, like you don't just get that ripped. You know what I mean? I've never seen anyone that ripped in my life.
He's blaming it on the horse. He's like, we eat horse meat, man. That's what it is.
Canelo.
But yeah, man. Honestly, I thought the ref, you got the takedown, and he did an illegal strike. The ref should have started you back in that position. Yeah. That's how it usually happens. They start you in that position, or they take a point away. Right. You know, but they don't give erase the position and start. And that was the ultimately the swaying momentum of the fight. Yep. But I thought even with that you won, because in a fight, if two people are going back and forth, because you guys did have some back and forths there. You know what I mean? Yep. But the difference is, clearly you got the better of him because you dropped him so many times. You rocked him. Sorry, you rocked him so many times. I don't remember. Did you drop him?
Rocked him.
Rocked him. Yep.
Like caught him. Yep. And then dropped him.
And then you took him down. Which did he get a takedown on you?
No.
So he didn't get a takedown on you. You rocked him. Then you dropped him, and you got a takedown. So 3 deciding factors that should have been, clearly. Honestly, I didn't even think it was like a split decision. I thought it was unanimous. I could be a little biased, but there wasn't anything that was like, oh man, remember when he did this and it almost got Cody out of the fight? No, it wasn't. There wasn't a moment.
I mean, honestly, like defensively, I was super sound that fight. I never took a big shot. You know what I mean? Like
you were amazing, man.
I never. Man, it's like going back and thinking about it. Like I remember like leaving the fight thinking I would be more bang. Like I kind of went in there like you get in there with guys like that. Yeah. Like you go in there knowing that like we're gonna hurt each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna be hurting when I leave, but like that's what you're going in there to do. And I remember like walking out being like, I don't have a mark on me. I don't have a scratch on my face, like nothing. You know what I mean? Like nothing.
Yeah, and he probably got that 90-day suspension.
He was butchered. Like we took a picture together, and like right after we took the picture, like his team is like following me around trying to get my phone. And they're like, please delete the picture. Please. And like like all night, like after the fight, they're at the hotel begging me to delete the picture. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, yeah. So I deleted the picture because like they would not leave me alone about it. But like I was gonna post a picture and be like, who do you think won this fight? And like his eyes are both swelled shut, his face is all banged up, and I'm like standing there. I don't have literally Actually, I think I had a little scratch on my face from like blocking a punch, and I hit myself with my own fingernail.
You should have deleted it and then went back into your junk, your iPhone deleted junk, and then got it, reposted it, man. But man, you know what though? I do believe that sometimes we are able to use those moments as fuel. You know what I'm saying? Because your next coming fights. Sometimes at least for me, whenever stuff like that happens for me, it just fuels me, man. It's just like it gets me I get so angry.
You're just left with like a sick gut feeling.
Yes.
And like the only thing you can really do, and obviously I can't right now because I hurt my arm, but like the only thing you can do is like get back to work. And like it's kind of been like that throughout my career. Like I've had a ton of injuries. I've literally torn both ACLs. I've had like 3 broken hands, torn shoulder, like all kinds of like serious injuries that put you out for like amount of time. It's like torn bicep.
Yeah.
I'm out for 3 months with this. Like, it's like those times you come to appreciate like every single day you get to spend in the gym.
100%.
Like you have a different mindset when you're in the gym. Like you're so happy to be there. You're so much more attentive to where like, if everything's going right, you almost get a little bit complacent because people don't realize how we're literally doing this same exact shit every single day. You throw a jab, cross, a kick. You know what I mean? You do it a million times.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's hard to stay like it's super sharp.
It's very hard. And it's not hard to stay sharp physically. It's hard to stay sharp mentally. It's like eventually you start your camp and you're fired up, you're ready to go, and then after a couple of sessions, a couple of weeks pass by, and you're still ready to go, a couple more weeks of doing that, then you become less and less and less, and you're like, all right, you know what? This camp is no longer fun. I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to just get in there and fight.
Yeah, about 3 weeks out, you're like, dude, I just want to get this shit. I want to get it over with.
Yeah.
Let's just do it.
Yeah, for real. And, another thing, too, is when you get injured, like somebody like you that suffered a bicep injury, right? It's like when you constantly are training all the time and you get injured, oh man, it's the weirdest feeling not being able to just train.
Yep.
Because you feel like people are getting better and you feel like your mind is just like, not doing anything. You're getting fat and you're eating. Oh man, and the demons come in and you're just like,
Yeah, that's like the mental, but like I said, my best performances and like the best runs I've had in my career were coming off injuries. I don't know why. I think injuries just do something to me where
rest.
Yeah, like not only the mental and the physical rest, like that I would absolutely never take, if I wasn't injured, but that I always probably need. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, I agree.
I went, like, I'm doing S&C, like, on my legs and stuff. And I did, like, I put up some, like, the best numbers I've ever put up with my legs. And they're like, we don't really understand, like, how you're able to do this. And I'm like, this is the first time in, like, 2 years where I've taken 2 weeks out of the gym. You know what I mean? Yeah. And at first I felt like it took me a long time to warm up, but once I was warmed up, I was like, literally, I feel like I could run 15 miles right now. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm not, like, this isn't even, didn't even do anything to me.
Well, because, we both came up wrestling background. You know what I'm saying? That our mentality with wrestling is that grind. You know what I mean?
Run you into the ground.
Go. But naturally, sometimes we don't even listen to our bodies. We're like, no. Fuck that. We're going to keep grinding.
We were taught not to.
Yeah.
Like, that's wrestling. You're like, oh, you're hurt. You're tired.
Yep.
Everything hurts. You're having trouble getting out of bed.
Yep.
You got practice. Get your ass to practice.
Exactly. And I got shit on on Twitter, actually, because I made a tweet and I said, some people are born fighters, some are not, because of that one, there was, I don't remember his name, but there was a fighter, it just recently happened, where he got, I think it was an illegal strike. I don't remember the illegal strike. He could have fought the rest of the fight, but he chose not to. It was recently. He got an illegal strike. I think it was a knee. Oh, back of the head punches.
Yeah.
Back of the head punches. And I said, you know what? There's a difference between being injured and being hurt.
Yep.
There's a big difference between that. And I got shit on because I said that, and people are like, oh, well, he got hit in the back of the head. I'm like, that's not the point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That your obligation as a fighter is to, if you can fight, go fight. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he was hurt. I didn't see anything after the fight. You know what I mean? But a lot of times, like I said, we came up in that wrestling background, man. It's gruesome. It's grueling. I blew my knee out at the regional tournament. I made it to the state tournament, and they were like, you gotta go to the doctor, and you can't compete. And I was like, no, I was 18 at the time. You know, I
Yeah.
turned 18 in high school. So I was like, no, I'm going to compete. So they couldn't tell me not to. And I competed at the state tournament on one leg. I practiced for 2 weeks, you know, on shots on one leg. Because all you need to do is once you get one leg, everything else is easier.
Yeah.
You know, and so, but that mindset is lost.
Yeah.
It's definitely lost. And
That's why, I mean, other than like wrestlers being, you know, dominant in MMA because you can decide where the fight ends up. I think a lot of it, because you can teach anybody how to wrestle,
Yes,
right? I think it's the grind and like
the mindset.
the mindset that you learn being a wrestler. And that's why, like, when parents are always like, what do you think my kid should do? Like, I want him to be an MMA fighter. And I'm like, wrestle for 10 years before you do anything else.
Is it teaches you hard work. It teaches you about whatever you put in, that's what you're going to get back. If you play football and you're the best on the team, but your team still loses, you can always shift the blame to everybody else. In wrestling, if you lose, it's on you. Yeah. And you have to take that responsibility. And it's just like life. And that's why I loved wrestling, because it equated so much to life, you know, and it was just like, oh, man. I came out of football and I got into wrestling and I was like, this is different. Okay, I like this. Yeah. You know, and especially if you're a competitor. Not everybody's a competitor, you know what I'm saying? But if you're a competitor, if you got an edge, you got that chip on your shoulder all the time, wrestling, man. I like wrestling over jiu-jitsu personally.
Jiu-jitsu's jiu-jitsu's for pussies. Dude, I mean, serious, like seriously, like if you're gonna sit here and talk to me about like what's harder, like jiu-jitsu or wrestling, like man, dude, we're not even the same fucking realm.
It's like, oh man, junior division baseball compared to like the major leagues. That's what I would compare it to.
Yeah, for real. I mean, dude, do you have any idea? Like, I mean, just thinking about like the stuff we did. Like, I mean, you were in Wisconsin, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if they ever made you do stuff like this, but like we would just be having a bad practice. Everyone was worn out and tired, and our coach would just be like, "All right, put your shoes on." Yeah. Like we're soaking wet at wrestling practice. Put your shoes on. It's 15 degrees outside. And they would have us outside running in the snow around the track.
Crazy.
And they're like, you know, you'd run one lap and they'd be like, run another one. You'd run another lap. They're like, you guys want to go in the wrestling room, wrestle for real?
Yeah.
And we're all like, yes, please. We just want to, like, we're all freezing to death. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it was like child abuse. Like, I couldn't even believe they could get away with it. But they did. That was like what wrestling was.
Yes. And, you know, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, there's no other sport like that.
There's none. Zero. And
see jiu-jitsu guys doing that shit? Hell no.
When they get done with practice, that's it. Practice is done. When we get done with practice is just beginning, because we have conditioning. You know, our wrestling conditioning portion of practice is at the end of ours. We're at the end of practice. At the end of a hard, grueling wrestling practice, competitions. You know, a jiu-jitsu practice, an average jiu-jitsu practice is about an hour. We practice for 3 hours. Yeah. 3 hours, and at the end of that 3 hours was our conditioning. And some of that conditioning consisted of carrying our teammates on our shoulder, you know what I mean? Doing crazy stuff like squatting, running around the room. Yeah. You know, the worst for me was the constant up down, where you pick somebody up and put them down. You pick them up and put them mat returns. I fucking hated mat returns more than anything in the world.
I hated stairs. I used to run stairs.
Yeah, see, bleachers for us, I hated it.
Oh, dude. Like, after you're just, like, absolutely destroyed. You're running and wrestling, running up and down stairs in wrestling shoes. And you're just like,
but it's crazy that you did all that. And then, you know, because where did you start? How did you get into landscaping, building? Every time I see you on Instagram, you're building something. You know what I mean? You're like a handyman, Bob the Builder.
So I wasn't supposed to be a fighter. This wasn't like... This definitely wasn't like where I was supposed to end up. My parents owned like a small restoration business. So like I've been working for the family business since I was probably like 8 years old.
Wow.
Like I started like cleaning my dad's tools and like learning the business when I was really young. And so that was like kind of what I was brought up to do. And honestly, I hated doing it. I absolutely hated it. But now that, you know, I'm a professional fighter, like I go back, there's like some nostalgia to like doing that kind of stuff. And honestly, it's kind of paid off, because
it's peaceful.
I've invested in real estate. I've remodeled real estate. I've sold real estate. And like now I have like, you know, like I just did a cabin in Utah, and it was just like I saw this banged up cabin. Yeah. I had the money. I'm like, I'm going to buy it. Like, and I bought it, and I completely gutted the place, remodeled it.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, man. I get so jealous when I see that because
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's a beautiful place.
Oh, it's
Duck Creek Village,
amazing,
Utah, man. It's a cool spot.
I get so jealous. I see you in the woods doing shit like that, and I'm just like, oh man, because for me, I grew up,
bro. Go
dude,
up there.
So for
Go check
me,
it out.
I grew up in Jamaica. Came to the States when I was 9. You know, spent the last 11 years in Wisconsin, but I grew up in Jamaica. And for me, I was always in the woods, man.
Yeah.
Even as a kid, I lived out there, you know, because the adults never wanted me around, you know, and I was always like just annoying little kid. So I would just go off into the woods by myself. I was an only child, you know, go off into the woods by myself. And so now that I'm in the States and I'm surrounded by buildings all the time, I feel like a caveman that's been like, you know how when they have a lion and they bring him in the house, and what's the word?
Domesticated.
Yes. I feel domesticated as shit sometimes, man.
Yeah.
And so I do things like I'll go paddleboarding and, you know, I'll go out and fly my drone. I just bought this amazing drone. I've been taking a lot of shots and stuff. Go out, you know, in nature here just to, you know, revisit my true self again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, it looks... George, do you have that clip up on Instagram?
I do.
Yeah, check this guy out, man. He's...
Yeah, that's the clip of me like I'm doing all kinds of crazy shit.
For real, man.
Knocking walls down, putting the floor in. But I mean, I literally I did that entire place top to bottom, plumbing, everything. A lot of some of the stuff I'd never done before.
Yeah.
But I mean, everything's online. I just figured it out. But,
yeah, man, that's amazing.
and that's the kind of stuff I did growing up, and like I literally like I started fighting because I'm like I never want to do this stuff, and now that I'm here, I'm like I actually really
enjoy it.
Like,
That's how, dude, isn't it crazy? Because that's how I feel about things too. I love so my stepdad owns a construction business.
Okay.
And when I was in high school, I went to high school in Florida. When I was in high school, get some extra cash, I would go work construction. And you know, anytime you hear construction, you're thinking, oh man, you know, we get to put some walls up. You know, no, like cement wheelbarrow.
Grunt work, dude.
Grunt work, man. Cement wheelbarrow. Carry that shit all the way over to the other side of the yard. Then pour it, bring it back. You know, then when it's time to, because in Florida that we have blocks, so they put the steel in the ground because there's hurricanes and stuff, you know.
Yep.
So they put the steel in the ground, and then they put blocks, cement blocks, all the way up, and they do that all the way around. And so when I remember having to like carry these blocks up the ladder, dropping it down into the steel.
Yep.
Carrying the blocks up the ladder, dropping it down in steel, you know, and it's just like, man, when I was back then,
you gotta wonder like how much of that, because like I mean you do strength conditioning at the PI.
Yeah.
Like how many of those motions do you do at the PI that are exactly the same stuff that you did repetitively like throughout a day doing construction?
Yeah, man.
Like the maces, like they got us doing stuff with the maces. We're like doing like a shovel with the maces.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, this is shoveling. Like I've done this my whole life. I'm not doing this shit.
It is. But that's why. So Dewey Cooper asked him, you know, I was like, dude, Francis Ngannou has one of the nastiest uppercuts in history. And Dewey said he has the hardest hitting uppercut he's ever felt. And he's held pads for everybody that's a boxer.
Best kickboxers in the world.
Yeah. And he's like, he told me, he's like, the reason why Francis Ngannou's uppercut is so vicious is because his whole life in Africa, he was doing this motion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's this motion.
Yep.
His whole life doing that motion.
Crazy.
And when you're doing that motion, you know what I'm saying?
All day. You can't replicate that in the gym.
Yeah.
You can't replicate something like that. Like,
can't.
you know, have me swing a mace for 3 hours. You know what I mean? Because that's literally what he's doing.
It's true.
And like you're just so like anatomically designed. Your whole body just morphs around like the motions that you have to do repetitively.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of stuff like you're talking about carrying bricks. Like we did a lot of like masonry repair and stuff. So like I was like same thing, like carrying bricks with my hands and like doing all this. I mean, probably one of the reasons why I'm sitting here in a brace is because of like all the wear and tear I've done in my body, you know, like through all the construction and stuff. But like when I grab a hold of somebody, I'm stronger than they are. I've never grabbed a hold of somebody my size that I was like, this dude's stronger than me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just not like, you're just not going to be stronger than me because of all the construction and shit I did growing up. Like same thing in wrestling. Like I liked wrestling because I could like throw dudes around.
Yeah.
Like I had no idea how to wrestle and I was winning wrestling matches because I was like so much stronger than they were.
Yep. I was the same, man. I was the same. Not just that, but I was faster than everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I grew up, you know, being active all the time, you know, just being outside. And just like what you said, you have to wonder how much of climbing trees, jumping off buildings into water. How much of that stupid shit that we did as a child outside equated to our strength now, our speed, our agility? You know what I'm saying? Because if you grow up outside, you naturally have that, your abilities are sharper. Now you got these iPad kids, that can't even tie their shoes.
Yeah, I mean, why do you think the kids that come from like third world countries and come from broken homes where they're not they don't have the iPads and all that like fancy technology, those are the kids that are making it nowadays, because they had to figure all that shit out on their own.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? Like these kids had to fight to survive, and like that like mentally, physically makes you like what you need to be to succeed in MMA. I didn't come from a broken home, but in a lot of ways, like we didn't do this. We didn't do the same shit everybody else did. Like my dad like gave me a BB gun and was like, "I'll see you in 8 hours." You know what I mean? Like, I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll be back in it. Like, come back before it's dark." You know what I mean? It's like, okay, yes, sir.
Yeah, my dad was like, "I'll see you in 8 hours," and I'm still waiting for him to come home. It's been
damn.
It's been 15 years, so I haven't seen him. I'm like, 8 hours is gone.
Hey, well, dads can be hard, dude. So there were days I was like, man, I hope my dad doesn't come home.
That's especially the kind of man that you are. I already know your dad was a hard ass man. The kind of guy that you are, but that's good because you can, translate that
hated him
to your
for
kids.
But now that I'm older, I'm like, dude, I just realized like he was trying to make me tough enough to handle the world. You know what I mean? And that was
ultimately the goal, man.
Ultimately what he did.
Yeah, for real.
With a belt. Okay.
So, do you have anything that's going on like behind the scenes?
I mean, so I was talking about earlier, like I'm always trying to like invest in real estate. I'm actually, I just got a message like as soon as this podcast started from a realtor in Michigan. There's a house that I want to buy.
Do you flip them or you buy them and rent them?
So I mean, ideally, I would like to buy them, rent them out like on Airbnb or like a long-term rental. You can make way more money on Airbnb than you can like long-term renting, but long-term's kind of like building something.
Agreed.
Airbnb is more like fast cash. But I mean, like that's like my end goal. Like make money fighting, invest it in real estate. Fix the real estate up, get it rented out, and then just wait on a passive income. Just because like I've worked since I was a little kid.
Yeah,
I don't think I'll ever stop working.
Yeah, but your window is still closing at the same time. Your window for fighting. We're probably be able to fight for 5 more years. How old are you? 31. 33. Yeah, 5 more years, if that, for both of us. You know what I'm saying? Because our body.
You never know. You never, like I said, you never know with injuries. Like all this other shit. You have to set yourself up for the future.
Exactly.
And so many guys aren't doing that. Yes. You know what I mean?
Because our body can, only take so much for so long before it's like, all right, man.
Now we can go a little longer. Now that USADA's not around, we got 10 years now, brother.
That's right.
Science.
Now that USADA's not around, we can fight for at least 10.
Yeah, I'll be fighting till I'm 50. I'll look exactly the same.
Oh man, I love it. Well, Cody, man, it was such a pleasure having you on the show. I've been wanting to get you on for the longest time. Life, getting back in the studio.
We're around each other a lot. I'm like not only in the gym, but like with all the charity stuff.
Yeah, all the charity stuff. We've signed to the same agency. You're like one of my favorite people. Every time I talk to you, you're so humble. You're so hardworking. I love the kind of a man you are. Just
you don't know me well enough.
It's okay, man. We all have our demons. Trust me. Yeah. Trust me, we all do. But again, appreciate you coming on. If there's anything you want to add or anybody you want to tag or shout out, you know what I'm saying? Follow my man on Instagram at Cody Steinman. He is incredible. Check him out. If you got any of you guys got any properties that you want to, consult with Cody on, it's the guy right here.
I can't help. I actually really enjoy doing that, actually.
Yeah.
People send me stuff all the time, and I'm like, all right, let me look at some comparables and get back to you. It's like a weird hobby that I've just kind of fallen into.
That's what's up, man. So thanks again. Well, guys, that's all for today. My name is O'Day Osborne, and this is Gwaan podcast with O'Day Osborne. And if you don't know, now you know. Out.